Welcome to the Sentai Podcast with your hosts Sam and Jay. We're here to discuss our favorite anime, interview industry figures, and a whole lot more. Visit sentai.com/podcast to see what we're all about. Today, Jay is talking with Destiny Senpai from the Getting Animated podcast about Nana.
Destiny Senpai, do you want to go ahead and start off by telling us about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Destiny Senpai. I host Getting Animated. It's a weekly anime podcast where I basically rant and rave about all my favorite anime shows and reviews. I talk about anime news, just all things anime pretty much. I'm a really big nerd. So that's just my main thing is all anime all the time.
A little bit. I kind of lived that life myself, as you might have guessed, working in the job I work.
Yeah, of
So
course. And
you
I also
mentioned
work.
yeah.
Oh,
Go
no,
ahead.
I'm saying I also work at Crunchyroll as well. So I do tend to also do anime during my day job as well.
It will take your life, and it is amazing for it, right?
Exactly.
And you mentioned the Getting Animated podcast. How did you get started hosting that?
So basically I was kind of just into college. Like that was my first year in college. I was like, what do I want to do with my life? I just know that I love anime and that's the one thing that's important to me. So lo and behold, I just decided I'm going to buy a mic and start talking to myself in the closet. And then I just started putting it out there and I just started talking more and more each week about the things that I loved, things I didn't really care for. And then slowly but surely, people started noticing me. And then people just started responding back to me, which was like, oh my God, there's more anime fans. It was such a surreal experience just meeting more fans and just being able to connect with so many people online. And that's pretty much how it started. And I'm really happy at how far it's come. It's really been a shock.
It's definitely a shock. I remember, in high school there was like three of us that liked anime, and we grouped together because that's what you do. And then in college there was a couple dozen of us, but then going online, there's millions of us.
I know. It's like literally there's a fourth in numbers. Like there's so many of us and oh my gosh, when you start like going and talking and meeting with people and like you start talking about manga and just all this stuff, it gets over like 10-year-old me would be freaking out right now. Like wouldn't even comprehend it.
Yeah, the first time I went to a convention, it was something. And then I started running them, and now I work for Sentai. So it's a path.
Yeah,
And
it really
we're
is.
talking about, you're getting started. What was your first anime? What was the most influential anime for you?
So kind of funny. This one's like a two-parter because so my mom used to get me mangas a lot. That was like her thing. She would go to the store. She'd be like, "Go to Borders, go pick out a book and go enjoy yourself." Because I really love to read. So then I was really into Case Closed. That was my jam. I would read it all the time. I loved murder mysteries. I really loved Nancy Drew at the time. So Case Closed was like a match made in heaven. And I kind of started watching like the anime, but I wasn't really into it until I started watching Peach Girl, which is just a messy drama. It was the first anime that was like, okay, wow, like there's anime that isn't just about Sailor Moon or Dragon Ball Z. Like this is like messy TV show drama, like Degrassi or something that I could just be like, yeah, I'm in it. So I'd probably say Peach Girl. I actually just went and got a Peach Girl tattoo for my birthday. Like this past week. It's messy and it's bad. Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's wonderful, but for that time, being like a teenager and trying to figure out what anime was, that was pretty much it.
I mean, we
That's
all
never
have
getting better.
our hot messes that we love, and we know it's horrible, but it is amazing.
So good.
And it's funny you mentioned the murder mysteries. I wonder is because we were all watching Case Closed. Is that why we all like watching the murder porn now, that like who did it, unsolved mystery stuff.
I think so, honestly. I have probably seen every episode of the original English dub, like the Funimation dub of Case Closed, probably over 100 times. Like, I love it. I can recite something like Moonlight Sonata, like that episode. Like, I've watched over 1 billion times. Like, that's my jam. Like, like Case Closed is my jam.
And turning from that to another hugely popular and influential series, how did you first watch Nana?
So Nana was actually something that I saw like a couple of friends at the time. Like, I wanted to be their friend, but I felt like I wasn't cool enough to be their friend, but they were like anime people and they would always like talk about it. So I ended up looking it up myself and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And they were like adults and they were just living such like cool lives and I was like, "Oh, this is what I am looking for." Like, I love this. And I had like finished Peach Girl, so I was always looking for the next like shoujo drama series I could find. So finding this, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool."
Yeah, you're
Um,
expecting Sojo, and then you got a whole lot of more feelings, right?
oh yeah, it destroyed me, and it's so funny because I had no idea what I was getting myself into, and I still feel like I probably should have been watching it at that age. Like, what was I doing watching?
I
Watching
mean,
this?
it was all just cartoons back then to us.
Yeah, right. Like, it was just like fine, but sometimes I'm just like, with my recent rewatch, I was like, I probably should not have been watching this at my age.
Yeah, me and Sam talked about that a lot on our first episode about Nana, and watching it when we were younger, because I was, first years of college, last years of high school, because time is weird and I don't really remember how old I was. To watching it
Yeah.
now, it really hits differently. And one thing that we discussed, and I wanted to hear from you, what does Nana mean to you then and now?
So I feel like when I was younger, watching Nana, I didn't really perceive a lot of the things that were going on and understanding it. For example, like Hachi, I was rooting for Hachi this entire time. Like, I was like, oh my God, Hachi did this. Like, Hachi deserves that. She's trying her best. She's doing everything she can. Like, her heart is always getting broken. And it's always the guy's fault. Like, I don't understand. She's so great. And now that
She
I'm
did
in
good
my
for him,
20s
right?
now, yeah, like now that I'm in my 20s, I'm like, oh my goodness, like Hachi has a lot of problems. There's a lot of things that I wish Hachi would uh just I don't know. Oh, sorry, that was my dog. I think Hachi deserves I think she deserves love, and I think Hachi definitely deserves therapy as well. um, and I can say that for a lot of the characters, but Hachi in general, because when I was younger, I really like connected with her, and I still do connect with her, and really understand like her. And I'm an airhead just like her, so we're always like on the same ball game right there. But there's just a lot of things that I wish would have been different from them now that I'm older. And it still means the same to me, I feel like, but it definitely impacts me more now that I'm an adult because I kind of get what they've gone through and I see it from an adult perspective versus when I was a teenager. I didn't get half of the stuff they were going through. I'm like, that could have been easy. Like, that could have been solved
It's
with
kind of
this.
like
But now,
thinking
like,
back to your high school days and college when you're younger. Like, damn, I was cringe. What was I thinking? I thinking I was hot, but no.
exactly. And I thought I knew everything about the world. Like before high school or even during high school, I thought I knew everything. I thought I knew, or maybe not even everything, but I knew how the world worked, right? Like I knew what if I did this, this was going to happen. But now that I'm 20 something, I've learned that I don't know anything. And it's all basically just trial and error and trying to figure it out. But yeah, Nana has really, it definitely has strike that in me where I'm just like, we're all just trying to figure it out.
Definitely. And this is a bigger topic, and it really leads into the depth of Nana. And I think it changes over time. And me and Sam talked about this extensively. But in your opinion, now that you watch it, what are some of the main themes in Nana?
So I think one of the main themes is just kind of like self reflection, and like maybe even accountability. Um, you'll find a lot of the characters don't hold themselves accountable. They like to blame a lot of everybody else around, and they just kind of be like, oh, like it's like Hachi. I keep going back to Hachi, but Hachi blames a lot of her circumstance to everybody else around her. But not once does she ever say, oh, this is my fault. Like maybe I'm the problem. Same thing with Nana too. Like Nana holds herself, she holds the people close to her um at like this pedestal, and she wants to protect them, but it takes so long to get there, to get to that point with Nana. And I feel like she fights herself a lot, letting other people in. And just accountability, I feel like, is a huge theme when it comes to Nana, because no one has it, and when they do have it, it's almost too late. And that's something I feel like, as you go through life and as you're an adult, you have to start holding yourself accountable, even if you don't want to, even if it's not fun. Another theme I think would be a huge thing with Nana is just like friendship, obviously. Uh, it's so crazy because as I've gotten older, I've definitely found my soulmate with my friends. And I never used to think that could happen. Like when I was little, I was like, oh, your soulmate is somebody that you love forever, blah, 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 you get married. But like your soulmate could be someone that you literally meet unexpectedly on a train. Like it really is that simple. Like you could have an
You
instant
never
connection
know
with
when life
someone.
is going to change for you, right?
Exactly. And you could meet that missing piece in your life randomly, like on just like walking around, just randomly bump into them. And then from there on, you guys are best friends. And that person is kind of like that lifeline for you. And you didn't even know. You didn't even know. They were walking around this whole time. You had no idea. So I think friendship is a very important theme of Nana as well.
Yeah. Before we get into the more, you know, lighthearted stuff, what was your best memories watching Nana?
So, one of my best memories is there's a moment where I, I was kind of going through my own relationship problems, and watching Nana go through hers kind of made me feel like, oh, like I'm not alone. It's not just, it's not just me. I'm not always just the problem. And just watching how Nana goes through her life as an adult, there's so many times where I'm just like, that's me. That's me right there. I'm learning about like it's like watching a glass. There's one moment where Hachi basically was like, she was broke, right? Dead broke, so sad, had no money.
Been there,
And
kind of still there,
yeah,
always
right?
there, live there.
Right? And then exactly. And her mom ends up sending her some money. And that's funny because my mom helped me out a couple of times. And when I had moved away from her and I was kind of watching Nana, it's cool watching her be like, Mom, like you saved me. I was so broke. And it just kind of made me feel like I could call my mom and talk to her. Because my mom knows I watch anime. She kind of watches anime too. So it was kind of cool to like show that scene to my mom and just be like, you're like that. And I'm so grateful for you. And like her little monologue about how great her mom was served as a really good memory, just sharing that with my mom and just telling her how grateful I was for her. But also in the same breath, it was really funny because you got to see my mom make fun of me because right after that, Hachi's like, oh, let's go out to eat. Like, let's celebrate. And she's like, Nana's like looking at Hachi like, what are you trying to celebrate? And she's like, I just got money. But she's like, you have no job. And I was like, that's literally how I would be. Like, I'd be like, my mom gave me money. Let's go out to eat. Like, do you want ice cream? Knowing dang well, like, I need to save my money and go do something productive. And it was funny showing my mom because she was like, I literally just saw you on the TV. Like, that's exactly what you would do. And I was like, I'm sorry. I have a bad spending problem. But, but I think that's probably one of my favorite Nana moments is being able to relate to Hachi in the more positive ways, and just being able to share that with my mom.
Definitely. And that leads into like, it's funny, and we mentioned this earlier a little bit. When we first watched, Nana, it was us living that. No one understands us. We're broke. We're finding ourselves. And now watching it, we're like, we were finding who we are in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And besides, growing and fashion and love, music plays a huge role in the series. Did you have a favorite song or band from Nana?
So my favorite song is, I hope I don't butcher the words for this. So it's Koro Namida. I think that's what it's, or it's called Black Tears. And it's the ending of it's the ending song for Nana, and every time I listen to it, it just makes me feel really comfy. It's one of those jams that I could put on in the background and just get my work done, or just cleaning the house, just kind of like humming along with it. And I really enjoy that song. It's not as aggressively rock as like the other songs are, but I definitely enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. Besides Nana's ending theme, what other music do you listen to in real life?
So I listen to a lot of anime songs. I know that's like so weeby, and I'm so sorry, but I do listen to a lot of anime songs, like openings and stuff. If I ever find an opening that I'm really enjoying, like My Next Love as a Villainess, I'm like listening to I think the opening quite often. And like Domestic Girlfriend, that one is actually a really good, like the opening theme is so good. It's a jam. The anime is a dumpster fire, but the song is really good. But I also listen to like R&B. I like K-pop. I recently got into a K-pop phase, so I'm like getting into that. I listen to pretty much anything, to be completely honest with you. I listen to classical music as well. Um, I never want to like keep myself in one box, especially when it comes to music. So I'm always trying to like dive into as many different sounds as I can get into. And then if I like it, I like it.
We live in the golden age where I can listen to any song ever made in 2 seconds. So why limit ourselves, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It's right there at your fingertips. And you can make your own, like you can mix songs together. It's great.
You can go from rap god to Chopin.
Exactly. Exactly. It's incredible.
Yeah. Uh, Very early in the episode, you talked about how you would read a lot of the manga for different animes, and that's how you got started into the weeb culture, as they say. Did you read the Nana manga?
I did not. Well, I didn't read it until way later. So I do know where it kind of stops at. Um, and I won't spoil it for anybody because I know there's a lot of. It's funny. My best friend, she just got into Nana and she's been watching it weekly. And she's like, "Don't tell me anything that happens." I'm like, "I won't tell you." Um,
It's a
but
personal
she's like,
journey we all have to go on, right?
"Yeah, you just gotta go through it."
Just have the tissues ready.
Yeah, yeah. I I hope we get an ending one day. Uh, Fingers crossed. I won't let that dream die. I refuse.
Yeah, for the fans who don't know, the manga series is famously unfinished, and it ends with the two Nanas still waiting to be reunited. In your opinion, what is their future? What do you think happens to them?
Well, I won't say any spoilers because I was gonna say, oh, we get to learn about this person. I think the both Nanas will be reunited. Maybe not in the way that one of them wants to be, if that makes sense. Like maybe maybe like, Hachi sees Nana again, but maybe it's not the same Nana that she knows and loves. And it could be vice versa. Uh I think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a happy ending. But I think that's one of the key things about Nana. Like, it shows you that life isn't perfect. Sometimes things work out and then sometimes things don't. And sometimes you end up in situations that you probably don't want to be in. So I don't know if we'll get a happy ending, to be honest with you, but I hope so. I know that the creator of Nana had put it on hiatus because she wasn't feeling well back in like '07, I think. So there's still hope. There's still hope we'll get an ending
Gotta
one
believe.
day.
And,
Maybe.
we can also say this leads us to have our own personal endings for Nana, which is also beautiful.
Exactly. And the fact that like life is so unpredictable, it really could go any way, it could be like both nanas are reunited and everything works out, and you know everybody lives happily ever after, they all get what they want in their lives, or other people can think of it as more of a darker ending, or it really could be anything, and that's literally how life is. It could end up anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised. I love seeing how fans have their own predictions up until this day of like their thoughts or where they think Nana's going. I'm like, oh, that's a good theory. I didn't even think about that
I think
one. So
when the anime series finishes its upload to High Dive, we'll get a whole new round of those, which will be amazing.
yeah. I honestly love all the new people getting into Nana. That really warms my heart because they're experiencing it for the first time and they're like, what? This is crazy. And there's a lot of people who are like, I've heard so many incredible things about this anime, but I never got to watch it. So
They just didn't know
makes
that what the deal was. They got to catch up.
yeah, you just got to get there. Once you're there, it's picture perfect. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. And now we come to the bit of the harder questions where I ask for your recommendations and some other things. So I'm sorry, but we can do this together. We'll get through it, right?
Yeah, we'll get through it.
So someone tells you Nana was the best thing ever. It is my anime. I'll watch it every day. What is other animes that you will recommend to them?
So I was thinking about this. So I want to say Love is Hard for an Otaku. Um, it's called, I think it's called like what? Yeah, Love is Hard for an Otaku. Because it has the aspect of like young adults being in love, um, going to work, and it's through like the lens of an otaku's. Like they're all friends and they're all otakus and they get to hang out together and they basically get to just go through all of that together. So I would recommend that because it's really good and it's super sweet. It's a little less on the dramatic side. So if you're looking for more of like a slice of life that surrounds young adults, that would be it. Another one would probably be Peach Girl. Now, I know I'm a little biased, but if you like drama, Peach Girl is where it's at. And I think Peach Girl matches the level of drama that Nana is able to provide. And it's very messy, it's fun, and it's very easy to binge. And I think it came out around the same time, so it has that same like 2000s feel to it, where you're just like, ooh, okay. Those are the two that would come to my mind.
So the
I
one that
think that's
I
it.
called out in the first episode we did, and I want to get your thoughts on it. I said Review Starlight.
Yes, I think so.
And
I think
besides that,
so.
more people will need to watch Review Starlight.
Yeah, I think Review Starlight's really good. So I think, yeah, at that point, that's something that you should definitely put up there. Review Starlight, yeah, I think so. I think that would be a really good recommendation. I also would say like anything with like the idea of found family, because that's literally what Nana is. It's like people coming together. Oh, Princess Jellyfish, I think would be another really good one. Um, Oh, and then Paradise Kiss. Just listen to. But those I think would be perfect just because they really do hone in on the same vibe that like friendship can be your new like family. Paradise Kiss is a big one. Big one. Big one. Paradise Kiss is very, very good.
I
And I
can
love
just
it a
see
lot.
now you're going to be in bed tonight and you'll be like, oh, I got another one. Oh, yeah, what about this?
I know. Yeah, Princess Jellyfish and Paradise Kiss are the two ones that I just added on there, and I think those are perfect if you really love Nana.
So, changing things away from Nana a little bit now. Animes that make you cry every time.
Oh. So I'm a Cancer, like that's my zodiac sign, so I live to cry. So I think my favorite one to cry at. So this one's a movie. It's called I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. Saddest movie I've ever seen in my whole life. I actually had my fiance watch it, and he wouldn't talk to me for a week because I didn't prepare him for how sad it was. And it's just sad. Like he was crying, I was crying. I saw it already and I cried again. So I Want to Eat Your Pancreas always makes me cry. Violet Evergarden, episode like 10, always makes me cry. Like that's what I put on when I'm like, I just need a good cry and I need to get it out. That one's a good one. A Silent Voice always makes me tear up, but I've watched it so many times that it's kind of not working on me anymore. But I love A Silent Voice. I love anything Kyoto Animation pulls out. Like anything that they do, I'm obsessed with. So those three, if you're looking for a good cry, oh, and Ride Your Wave. That's a really sad movie as well. So
I
lots
got
of sad.
something that's a little bit more powerful that will destroy you.
Hmm.
Grave of the Fireflies.
That is really sad. That is, oh yeah, that is really sad. Oof. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I lost some friends over that I showed it to them and they're like, I hate you. I am never talking to you again.
Yes. I kind of love that. Like I love when people are just like, how could you do this to me? And it's just like, it's still a good movie. It's just sad. Like it's still like my friend recommended me Angel Beats, and I was like, this isn't sad. What are you talking about? And then I got to like episode 7 and I was in shambles. It was like the worst surprise sad anime I've ever seen. Yeah, Angel Beats was
The one
really
that
hard
gets
for
to
me.
me because it's not really sad, but it is when you really think about it, is School Live. Because,
Really?
like she's in her own world. She ain't accepting life.
Yeah, that's true. Clanid too. Clanid After Story. Yikes. Yikes. It's just
Man,
sad.
we took a turn. So let's talk about something more pleasant. Animes that have changed your life besides Peach Story because you got that tattoo.
Yeah. Anime that has changed my life. Well, A Silent Voice definitely changed my life. I got to see that in theaters, and yeah, I'm a big advocate for mental health and making sure that make sure that you're okay, make sure that your loved ones are okay. I'm really big on that. So watching A Silent Voice accurately just portray that and making sure that it was done right and it was in such a beautiful movie. I loved it. I even had a licensed therapist come on and like watch A Silent Voice and then tell me their thoughts on it. So Silent Voice changed my life. I absolutely loved it. Other anime that's changed my life, I would say Erased, because that was just like a really fun short anime that really knocked me, like that got me watching more seasonal stuff. I was always just like going through my anime list and then just like scrolling until I found an anime I liked. But when Erased came out, that was when I found out anime came out like seasonally. And I have just been hooked ever since. I'm always like, what's coming out this season? I need to watch what's coming out this season. So I'd also say Erased as well. There's so many. It's so funny. Every time I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the anime that's like the thing, like the anime that changed me.
So
Another one comes down the line.
yeah, with me, I would probably say Robotech because that's the one that like grabbed me and like I need to find out what this is, everything about it. And then I got to watch Lacrosse, which was completely different, but the same.
Yeah. No, I see that, and I think that's really cool. And it's just anime is just so addicting. You get into one, and then next thing you know, and you love it, and then next thing you know, you're in it for a very long time. And then you end up like being into the fandom so deep, you don't even realize how deep you are into it. Yeah, I completely understand that.
So I got a last hypothetical before we, wrap up here. You meet someone at the bus stop or wherever you meet some people nowadays. I don't know, with strange world we live in now, but they say, I have never watched anime. What is the anime you recommend to them?
So I always say, I always say Erased because it's only like 12 episodes and it's a good mystery. I always say Erased because it's like boop boop boop. Like even if you don't watch anime, I feel like that's the most simple anime to get into. Um, then of course it depends. I always try to figure out what the person likes. Like if you're someone who's like more serious, I'll give you this one. I also let them watch Beautiful Dreamer, that Lum movie, because it's so crazy and things are just going on and it looks beautiful. I think it's from the 80s. And it's just so different and I feel like it's just a good time. So I would recommend Beautiful Dreamers or Erased, or of course like I would say like Samurai Champloo or Cowboy Bebop. Like a poster, like Cowboy Bebop. Just because it's like those are shows that I feel like anybody can really get into them. Um, but it's so hard. I usually try to ask them what they're into because if you're into romance, then I'll give you, like Your Lie in April, or I just try to find what your thing is. I was just telling my friend, she's a journalist and she does not like anime at all. I was like, there's an anime for everyone. Like, if you're into journalism, I have an anime for that. Like, I could find you an anime about anything that you like and have you get hooked into it. So it's really based on the person. But if I just a random person they asked me off the top of my head, I would say those. Um, yeah, those would be it.
I would probably go Akira or Princess Mononoke, give them a film, that's a couple hours and they
Mm,
in and out. And if someone says that they don't like Miyazaki, you don't need them in your life.
yeah, that's absolutely true. Akira took me so long to watch. Um, because it was so long. It was gorgeous, but I felt like it was just so long and I was having a hard time. Like I have watched that movie probably twice because I didn't no, I watched it 3 times. The first time I had no idea I had no idea what was going on. Second time I like watched it and I was like, okay, I think I get it. And then the third time I watched it, I was like, okay, I know all of the secrets of the universe and you could tell me anything.
I think that's the average
So
viewing experience.
yes, yes. I was just like, I don't know. At first, it took me forever to get like a basic understanding of what it was. And then I did, and I was like, I know everything. I see all the truth.
You can hear colors and see sound, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope we can do another talk about different anime sometime in the future. But before we sign off, I want to go ahead and ask you to tell people where they can find you online, how they can follow you, and what you're up to right now.
Of course. Well, thank you so much for having me on here. I love this conversation. It was so much fun. You can find me at Destiny Senpai on Twitter and Getting Animated on Instagram, Twitter, anywhere, just Getting Animated. You can listen to me on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music Play, iHeartRadio, I think, and anywhere else you stream podcasts. I don't really have anything crazy coming up right now. I'm working on a YouTube channel in the future to try and get my podcast on YouTube. But that's pretty much it. I'm just living life and working in anime and just making sure all my anime dreams come true and I can make all everyone else's anime dreams come true. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Sentai Podcast. This episode was brought to you by HiDive, where you can stream thousands of hours of anime for $4.99 a month. Check out hidive.com for details. Special thanks to our guest, Destiny Senpai, our host, Jay Perez, our producer, Tom Helberg, and our editor, Connor Clifton. Thanks for tuning in.